All right, welcome everyone. My name is Charles Thompson. I'm one of the field leaders here at Powur. I want to welcome all of you new ambassadors. There's a number of people who are here today, and there's those who will be just listening to a recorded version of what we have. So congrats, you're listening to this. That means you've enrolled. And the next step for you really is to start leveraging the Powur platform to enter that referral. It's really simple. You log in and you go enter the customer's information. If there's any questions, the consultant who is assigned to work with you is always available directly through the platform, and we encourage that. Obviously, we don't want you to have to worry about selling anything. Objective is just to refer, and then you can track your projects. You can see stage by stage where that customer is leading up to your actual reward, if you will, that you receive for helping refer people to leverage the platform. From here, I want to talk a little bit about who we are, because you might not have heard the story behind Powur. And Powur has been in business now about 6 years, founded by Jonathan Budd from San Diego, California. And he really had just a shift in his thought process about the direction of humanity, and Powur was seen as a way to really change the industry, not only the industry, but for mankind. And he formed a public benefit corporation out of San Diego. It is designed to be formed more for not personal gain, but for the public benefit, right? Not to distribute profits. Not that we aren't a profitable company, we want to be profitable, but it's about the greater good of what we do. And one example of that is we're the first of the kind in this industry to be 100% carbon neutral. So that's important to you in terms of being able to offset emissions. That's what Powur's mission and vision is. We 100% from the manufacturing, from the installation, from the rolling of the trucks, for every employee in the company, we 100% offset our carbon emissions. We've got an amazing opportunity for homeowners in the sense that not only are we a strong company, financially backed, we do all the public benefit things we do, but the out-of-the-box warranty for our homeowners is a 25-year output guarantee on the panels, a 12 to 25-year inverter guarantee, a 10-year workmanship warranty, and a 5-year roof penetration warranty. This is our standard offering to each and every homeowner. And generally, that's more than adequate. But when you have a homeowner who wants that significant peace of mind, Powur also has an optional upgrade to a 30-year end-to-end system coverage. That's all defective panels, inverters, roof, etc. Everything is covered, and that's backed by a $10 billion insurance company, and there's a slight additional cost for that. Oftentimes, investors want to know, where can we refer people? And your consultant will be able to share with you our current coverage map. We have a lot of focus on the California, Texas, and Florida market, but you can see every blue market here. We are open for business, and more markets will come as we grow as a company. Now, the question is, how do you leverage that platform? And we've really made this super simple. The platform is designed really for you. Let me see if I can get my screen to advance. There we go. And you just engage with a simple two-step process. And what does that mean? It just means that, slide is funky here. Step one is to just create a list. And that is something you can have through the assets that your consultant will share with you, is a memory jogger. What we want you to do is look at this from, look, if you just want to refer your personal friends and family and help them and make a few extra $1,000 in the process, great. But if you want to turn this into something that you can do more consistently and regularly, we always recommend that you create a list, because a list is really the foundation of any successful campaign, particularly referral campaign. And in that contact list, you really never know who's going to want to know what you're offering, who's going to want to hear that. So list everyone you know, and don't prejudge, don't screen them, and don't filter that initial list. Just make a long list of as many people as you can. Go on your social media sites. You're going to find a lot of people who may not be true friends, but I'll talk you through how to kind of filter that down. Once you've got the list established, you have a master list of hundreds and hundreds of people, now you start to filter that. Filter it down to your warmest or hot contacts first, those who you want to immediately share this with. Your message is going to be a little different for those folks, perhaps than the cold list, if you will. And just keep narrowing it down. Narrow it down to your warm contacts. Narrow it down to your lukewarm contacts. Narrow it down to your cold contacts. And the only reason you want to do that is your messaging is going to be slightly different for each of those, because the personal relationship you have is different. And then after you've done that, begin to share solar. and really understand our mission and vision. It's to accelerate the adoption of clean energy on a worldwide basis. We're currently in 20 states, but we're impacting the world, and to panel 2 million homes by 2025. That's a lofty goal, but we're well on our way to do that. There's a number of reasons that people do go solar, and most of them are economic and environmental. The economic benefits are going to vary by market because some energy costs are lower than California, for example. It's triple what it is in Florida and Texas. So the economic benefits are going to be a little better in California than they are in Texas and Florida or some of the other markets. But the other change is the environmental side. Those benefits are going to be the same no matter where the homeowner is. And that's in line with our mission vision, which is to reduce the pollution, reduce our carbon offset, and the environmental benefits are absolutely the same. So we use a two-step process. This is a non-high pressure closing process. We really focus on education, educating people on the benefits of solar, and it begins with you. And that first meeting is really where you set the stage and collect what you'll need to be successful. Work with your consultant on what they want you to do. But I walk you through the basics of what we do. And then the second meeting, which you do not have to be engaged in, is where the client that you have referred to us meets with the consultant. And with that, there's 5 stages that lead will go through. The first is when you first submit the lead into the platform. The second is where the lead is then accepted by the consultant, and the consultant is responsible for that point forward. But the process then goes through the third stage is the consultant actually presents the savings report to the homeowner, and they do that sometimes virtually, sometimes in person. It depends on what the client wants. After that, the fourth stage is when we go to contract. That's when it starts to really get the process. And you'll see that bar going. The fifth stage is after installation. That's when that commission milestone, that referral fee triggered for you after installation. And generally, that's going to be anywhere from 7 to 14 days after the homeowner has signed off on what we call substantial completion, just so you know. There's a 5-step process that you go through. And initially, again, you may just want to refer this to a couple of people, and some of this content that I'm going to share with you doesn't matter. If you want to share this with more people and you want to really turn this into some real good part-time, full-time income, then use this 5-step process. Create a conversation, introduce what you're doing with Powur, introduce what I call halo. I'll talk about that. Ask a closing question. You're not selling. A closing question in this case is ask for the bill. And then once you get that bill, you submit it to the consultant and you pass that baton. That's really all you have to do. It's not an extensive amount of workload. And it starts with having a conversation. I always recommend something called CPR, and that is you continue or create a personal relationship. So back to that warmest list and warm list, you already have a personal relationship with them, so continue that relationship. If you don't have a personal relationship, create a personal relationship and focus on what we call the FORD concept: family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Obviously, if you don't know someone, they're cold contact, you're not going to really want to talk about their dreams, right? Unless you're in this COVID period where you say, are you looking forward to getting back out and having dinner someplace, or whatever the case may be. But it's really simple. How's the family? If it's someone you know, you can say, how's John, or how's Mary? Someone who's more of a cold contact, how's your family holding up during these unprecedented times? Just that type of conversation. What are you doing for work these days? Or have you been furloughed? How's your golf game? How's this? How's that? It's all about tying in, building rapport, and helping them see that this, your goal is not to sell them anything. You want to know a little bit more about how their life is going. Then you have a conversation. And one of the greatest starter questions is, have you actually noticed your electricity bill is going up over the past few years? And unless someone's on auto debit and paying no attention, they are going to say yes. And then you say, yeah, well, me too. And the reason I asked, I don't know if you are aware, but I recently became an ambassador with Powur. And now I'm certified with Powur to help homeowners evaluate if solar is the right thing for their home and whether it can save them tens of thousands of dollars. So if solar didn't cost you anything up front, nothing at all, and could save you tens of thousands of dollars, would you be interested in hearing more? What an answer, right? Super simple. And with that, then you say, look, all I want to do is have a conversation with you. I'm going to talk with you why I became an ambassador, so tell them why you did this with Powur. I want to learn a little bit about what questions you have, maybe hear your ideas about solar, and I'll explain some of the common misconceptions. Then I'll gather a couple bits of information and see if you're a good candidate for solar. No pressure. That's all my job is. And Then I'll introduce you to my Powur energy consultant, and we'll get you a free proposal. He or she will state their name. Melissa will be contacting you and going over setting up a time for you to be able to have a time to review the savings report. And then get in a dialogue. Keep this building rapport. What are your thoughts about solar? Have you ever looked into solar before? If you did, why haven't you gone solar? If you haven't, why haven't you looked into solar? And those are important notes to share with your consultant. I always say set yourself up for success. The more you can share with the consultant, you don't have an obligation to do that, but the more that you can, the better experience it's going to be. Some analogies I like to use. So, right now, the great analogy is, hey, what are you paying for gas these days? Right? We're lower, I think, than I remember seeing when I was in high school. So if you could lock that price for gas in now, you think it's going to go up or you think it's going to stay low? Because it's all supply and demand, right? You think it's going to go up, you think it's going to stay low. Of course it's going to go up. So if you could lock that price of gas in where it is now, would you do that for the rest of your life? Would you never worry about that? Who's going to say no to that, right? Now, a couple of months from now, when the prices are back up high, if you look back in time, hey, if you could have locked those prices in during the whole COVID crisis, would you have done that? Of course I would have. Well, do you happen to know what you pay for a kilowatt hour of electricity? And most people have no idea. So a gallon is a measurement of fluid, gasoline in this case. A kilowatt hour is a measurement of energy. And that's how they're billed on their energy bill. So if they don't know, that's a great time to say, well, let's get a copy of your electric bill. And then I'll have Melissa, I'm using Melissa in this case, explain how you are charged for electricity, because they charge you based upon kilowatt hours. So go ahead and grab me a copy of your bill. I'll load this into the platform, and I'll make sure that I have Melissa reach out to you. What do we look for in the bill? For your information. You don't have to share this with the homeowner. So we're not looking for just an image of the graph. We're not looking just for a snapshot of the bill. We're looking for the entire bill, because we look at three things when we talk to homeowners. We look at how much energy they use, because that's going to tell us the size of the system that they need. Every home's different, right? You could have two homes side by side, and one is using significantly more energy than the home on the other side. So we have to look at that personal usage over a period of time. That tells us the size. It also tells us the cost. So if somebody says, how much is this going to cost? I have no idea, but I can tell you how we can get there. Give me a copy of your electric bill. And that starts the process. So we look at how much you use, and then we look at how much you actually pay for a kilowatt hour, because that's going to tell us the economic proposition. That's going to let us know whether this is something that's even viable for you. So when I'm getting into these conversations with a homeowner, I say, look, there's 130 million single-family residences in the U.S. As an ambassador, I want to help as many of them I can, but only 90 million are eligible. So if you're one of the 40 million who aren't eligible, I don't want to waste your time. And a real quick way to do that is to look at your electric bill. That electric bill will tell us the two most important things: how much you use, how much you pay. And then the third thing that Melissa's going to do is she's going to look at your roof, she's going to look at your home, she's going to determine if it's eligible. If you're not eligible, we're not going to waste your time. Sound fair? Great. Then if you want to give another example, hypothetics, now that you know what you pay for a kilowatt hour, at least you know how it works, how about you lock that in? How about you could lock in the cost of that energy for the rest of your life? Every kilowatt hour that's produced by that system never goes up in cost. How about that? Would you opt in for that if it cost you nothing out of pocket? Would you do that? Of course they would. Well, let's get started. It's really that simple, folks. Let's get started. Put it into the system. If you haven't got the bill yet, so this is where you kind of go back to, you want to get the bill. It's really going to help you set up for success. So back to the question before. Remember, always ask kind of a closing question, if you will. If I could show you a way to save you tens of thousands of dollars on your energy costs by going solar, would you be open to at least looking at a free savings report? Great. Let me copy that bill. It's always about getting the bill. And again, the reason is because the savings is going to vary based upon how much the homeowner's using and how much they're paying. Without that bill, we can't do it. If somebody doesn't have a bill handy, ask them if they do online billing. They go online, they go to view where the bill is, they can download a PDF of that, they can email it or text it over to you. That's all you have to do. Grab me a copy of that bill and we'll get this process started. That's it, folks. Make it simple. It's the number one objective is just to build rapport and to get an electric bill. And then work with your consultant to set up a couple of times. So you'll know some consultants have a calendaring system that you can actually say, if you're talking to somebody, you can book a time right there in their calendar. If not, then you can just say, Melissa will contact you in the next couple of days to set up a time that's convenient. The more you do in helping coordinate that, the better. Again, no obligation to do that. It's just a matter of setting you up for success. Verify the home address is accurate. Verify their email and phone number are accurate. Put everything in the platform, submit it to the consultant, and then the rest is up to them. When you first get started, some of this is all obviously brand new. It's going to be normal that your pitch, right, isn't going to be quite right. You might have to do some adjustments. If you really want to master this and perfect referring people, then record yourself. Listen to what you do. Try it out on your warmest prospects first, because those are your closest allies. And then redo what you do. Just make sure it's your personal touch. There's no scripting. There's just some guidelines on what you say. And practice, practice, practice. To whatever extent you want to see your referral network grow, take advantage of that. I like to coach using open-ended questions because they're very valuable in helping you gather information, to qualify prospects, to build rapport, to build trust. Obviously, your warmest and warm contacts already trust you, but it's just to continue that and then build towards the same level of trust with whoever you're using as your consultant. Some of those would be, what kind of challenge you're facing? Has your bill really gone up over the last few months because of COVID? And what's the most important priority for you as solar? Is it financial? Is it economic? Is it environmental? Tell me a little bit about what you're thinking about. What's important to you? Those are just simple examples of open-ended questions. And then use the Powur platform. Once you've made contact, enter that into the platform, and then use the resource that we have, which is that great little tracker that you can see for every client that you've referred to your consultant. You can see the process along the way. So leverage the platform to do that. I always also recommend that you have an array of ways to communicate, because not everybody communicates the same way these days. Some people don't even answer their phone anymore. It goes straight to voicemail. The voicemail box is full. Those people typically are good on texting. So if you have a combination of calling somebody, texting somebody, emailing somebody, you're going to find your connection ratio is going to be even better. Examples. And I actually had someone here today who did this yesterday and just got their first referral in the platform. Just put one little post on Facebook. Do you know that you can go solar without spending a dime out of pocket? PM me for details. Posted it last night, got our first referral today. Exact same image. It's simple. These are the things that we're just going to give you some basic examples. A follow-up to that after you made that post and people start to PM you. And by the way, you can start saving money day one. You can drastically cut your bill. You can increase the value of your home. You become energy independent. You go green. And when you go solar, you're never going to deal with a rate increase from utility ever again. That's a powerful post. Put a picture of a solar panel up there and post that. PM me for details. You don't want to publicly engage with people because it tends to bring out the negative Nellies, right? People always, just like review sites, right? The people who go to review sites are always there to gripe. Sometimes on social media, you kind of poke somebody and they come out and say negative. So always say PM me for details. Don't publicly engage with them. Another example, do you believe the world should go solar? Or do you want to help panel the planet? Picture of a panel, PM me for details. Simple examples. Have you ever thought about going solar from home? How about that? You can get into your local groups. And this is what it's all about, your community groups, right? You can go where people are eco-friendly, green groups, wherever they're doing things to help the planet, help the environment. Go in those groups. You ever thought about going solar for your home? PM me for details. You want to stop your electric bill from continually increasing year after year? PM me for details. Simple examples. And then a good post when you first get started is, put it on your social media. I just became an ambassador for Powur, and they're operating in 20 states. They give homeowners the opportunity to get a full solar system installed on their home with nothing down, with nothing out of pocket, at the same time lowering or eliminating their electric bill. Literally cost the homeowner nothing up front, and it's a no-brainer. PM me for details. Again, all these examples will be in the PDF that your consultant will share with you if you desire to take this to another level of more referrals. And if you do, then have some consistent daily routines. What do they mean by that? It's a two-way conversation. It's not just a text. It's not just a social media post. It's an actual conversation. That's what qualifies. And if you do that, you will see much better success and set yourself up for success with your consultant. So with that, thank you for joining us today. Welcome to the Ambassador Program. We look forward to helping you and helping the planet, helping the environment, helping our company achieve its goals of 2 million panels on homes by 2025. I'm going to stop the recording and we'll take any questions that we have this time. If you're listening to the recording version, get back to your consultant. You got a copy, a PDF copy of this information. So if you want to take some of those suggested posts and scripts, you'll get that through your consultant. Thanks for being here.